So I do feel like this is a comment worth responding to, and your comment was long, so I screenshotted it. That way I could respond to it as a whole. So it says, you do realize that Starfall is also hosted at the House of Wind, where there are hundreds of people. And the only reason Nesta couldn't go down the stairs was because she was out of shape, but she was capable of doing so in just a few months, which shows how strong the Fae actually are. Also, I'm not really sure where you're getting the idea that the Illyrians weren't able to climb the stairs, where when Cassian only mentioned them as children being punished by having to go up and down the stairs in the middle of summer. They're Fae. They're much stronger. Sure, it could be an inconvenience, but it's not impossible. Which, okay, fine, it's not impossible, but it's also not accessible either. Like, this is a very far cry from accessible government. I say again, I am from New York City. Our mayor takes the subway. I do acknowledge that Cassian was talking about the Illyrians as kids climbing up and down those stairs, which would be really hard and probably was why they puked everywhere. And I guess now climbing up and down the stairs is easier for them. But one, they don't do it, which means that even if it's not, extremely physically difficult for them, it's still not convenient. It's not accessible. It's not accessible government. But two, just because they can do it doesn't mean that the average Valaris citizen is going to be able to do it. And even among the Fae, okay, let's talk about the Archeron sisters. All three of these women are in vastly different amounts of shape. Nesta has spent months, probably over a year, being trained by hardened soldiers and is essentially becoming hardened into a hardened soldier herself. And Feyre, she's done some training, but she wasn't really being trained for battle in the way that Nesta and the Valkyries were and are being trained for battle. And also Feyre could also grow wings, so she doesn't really count, but we're counting her here anyway. Meanwhile, Elaine, she hasn't started any combat training. If they give this woman fucking combat training in her goddamn book, I am going to freak the fuck out. Let girls be magical for once. That was kind of an outburst of an aside, but I promise I'm going somewhere. The point is that as of now, Elaine Archeron has not been physically trained in any way. She pulls out weeds and she gardens, and that's a very physical activity, but learning soldier formations and being in actual battle, she is not. You cannot tell me that these three Fae women, equally Fae women, are not going to have three different kinds of a time attempting those 10,000 stairs. Nesta, yeah, she was out of shape at the beginning of the book, and by the end, she could make the climb up and down the stairs, but this is still not something that she does now, as a rule, unless there's a future passage where Nesta does mention, oh yeah, I actually do attempt those stairs every day or every week or whatever. And then at that point, I'm like, all right, cool. But even then, she's a soldier now, which is tragic in his own way, but that's not the conversation we're having right now. So I wouldn't measure the difficulty of the stairs by how the Illyrian men handle it or how Nesta handles it. I would use a far more average person like Elaine to determine whether the average townsperson could attempt this climb so that they could partake in local government. And I personally don't think that Elaine can do it, because I feel like we would have seen Feyre attempt the stairs, and we haven't. And we don't need to, because Feyre doesn't have to, because Feyre can grow wings. Feyre has the accessibility to get up there. That Nesta and Elaine, they would need to walk up the stairs if they're not having someone fly them in. And that's not the same. It's not the same. And I think this comes down to, we're measuring the difficulty of a physical task by the characters who are widely considered to be the most physically capable in the entire series. And I just think the average merchant and the average, artisan who lives in Valaris, because only, the artsy-fartsy good people live in Valaris. And because, they're artsy-fartsy good people, the people of Valaris haven't really seen battle. Aside from what we see in the story. These are not people who are training for defending their homeland. That's not happening because they don't have to. They have the other territories to do that for them. And because they don't have to do that, I don't think many of them can attempt this climb. And if they cannot attempt this climb, they can't partake in local government up until such point as I'm assuming, I hope Reese and Feyre move their operations from the House of Wind to the River Manor. Because I think once the River Manor is established as where the people go to partake in talking to their rulers, then I will withdraw this complaint. But as of now, they're still doing this at the House of Wind, which I I really wish that they had said, "Oh yeah, like we moved our base of operations for dealing with like Valaris affairs to the River House," because then we wouldn't really have to complain about this, which means we're back to a world building issue again. And I just, why are we back to a world building issue again? Like the world just keeps on giving, and by giving I mean it just keeps making holes that we have to fill for no reason. Climb out of your holes, people.